Hi, I'm Bill Woodard, and welcome to the Chamber Corner. Okay, we've got an exciting show for you today. I think you're going to enjoy a lot of the interviews. We're at the Smith County Fair, and obviously it'll be over by the time you see this, but we're going to tell you about 2019 and what's going on. You know, the Smith County Fair has grown over the years. Got a lot of rides. They've got a really good fair vendor, and they've got a lot of rides up. And then the food court, that's the one place that I really like. You go down here and you can get just about anything. They got all kind of fair food, some of the best stuff in the world. And of course the arena is behind me there, and they have the races. I've got a kart race tonight, and they do all kind of events in the arena. And there's vendors everywhere. Folks, 2019, you need to make plans to come to the fair. So we're going to get some of these interviews out of the way. We're glad you're watching the show. Okay, we're standing in the lobby of the Ag Center, and of course right now the fair is going on. This
Absolutely.
is Katie Barton. And I'm Bill Woodard, and we are not in the middle, at the beginning of the fair. By the time you folks see this, the fair will have come and gone. Why are we talking about it? Well, we're hoping you'll make some plans for next year, but Katie's going to talk about some things that are going on during the month, all the way up into maybe, August?
Yeah, probably so.
All right, well, Katie, what do you got for us?
Well, we've got the fair going on. That's been taking up a lot of our summer, but 4-H doesn't stop with the fair. We've got a cooking camp coming up next week that we've got lots of kids signed up for, teaching those great life skills that they'll be able to use from here on out. We also have outdoor meat cookery coming up. We've got a junior high and senior team that we are working on. In outdoor meat cookery, they actually learn how to grill on a charcoal grill pork, chicken, beef, or lamb. So they develop their own recipe. They learn how to grill, safety, taking the correct temperatures of meat. So that's one that we have a lot of kids interested in this year and are very excited about.
Well, question, how old are these children that are doing this?
So they can actually start in the 6th grade, and then it goes all the way up till 12th. So hopefully, if they continue on with it, they can really develop some great skills that they're able to use throughout their life.
Well, that is wonderful that you're doing that, especially at that early age.
Yes, absolutely, and they enjoy it, of course. And at practices, we get to try the food, so that's definitely a favorite as well.
Well, I've always seen those cooking shows. You know, they have those great dishes, and I've often wondered, do they get to eat that? They do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's wonderful.
Yep. So besides outdoor meat cookery, we also have 3 individuals that are representing Smith County at Roundup at the end of July. 2 of those are actually project finalists. They will get to compete in, Olivia Jarvis will compete in food science, and Grace Harville will compete in communications and public speaking, and have the opportunity to hopefully maybe win at the state level. So we're very excited about that.
That'd be great. And you've really had some stars here in Smith County.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, now, what anything else going on?
Well, as school starts, of course, we will be enrolling new 4-H members, hopefully getting people active in our homeschool and community club. And basically, if you're not involved with 4-H and want to be as this school year starts, please contact our office. You can email me at kclark54@utk.edu. Come by our office or call us at 615-735-2900.
Okay, and basically anybody that wants to get involved in 4-H, they can do it through the school system.
Absolutely.
Is that right?
4th through 12th grade. We're in most of the classrooms, 4th through 6th, some 7th and 8th grade classrooms as well.
Okay, now I hope I'm not hitting you with a question that you don't expect.
That's okay.
But what about homeschool? Can they be involved too?
Absolutely. We have a homeschool group that meets monthly. Great group of kids. They are offered the same opportunities. We actually meet here at the Ag Center, so we definitely want those homeschool kids to be involved as well.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Well, you mentioned her. We have a young lady that is a regular on our show, so how would you like to introduce her?
So Grace, we're wishing her luck at Roundup and at Outdoor Meat Cookery, and we're excited to see her next episode of Seasoned with Grace, so hope you guys enjoy it.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Seasoned with Grace. This month I'm going to be making a delicious dessert pizza that will be fantastic for your 4th of July celebration. So first we're going to start off with a cookie sheet that has 4 small rolls of sugar cookie dough that I've microwaved for about a minute. And now what we're going to do is just press the cookie dough kind of to make a crust for our pizza. Alright, we have our cookie crust patted out, and now we're going to bake it in the oven at 350 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes. Now that our cookie crust is in the oven, we're going to get to making the delicious sauce that goes over the top of our pizza. And it's really simple. It's just 4 blocks of softened cream cheese and 1 1/3 cups of sugar. And now we're going to mix this together with a hand mixer. We have just finished our sauce for our pizza, and now we're going to go over here and get the crust out of the oven. And we're going to let this cool completely. So our sauce is done, and now we're going to spread it on top of our crust of our pizza. And you just want to make sure that you evenly distribute it throughout the pizza crust. You want to make sure you also get everything out of the bowl because the sauce is too delicious to waste. Alright. Now we're just going to spread all of that on. Speaking of 4th of July, the Smith County Fair is going on during the 4th of July. The dates of that are July the 2nd through the 7th. And I hear that during the 4th of July they're going to have a fireworks show. And we would love to have y'all out for the Smith County Fair. Our frosting is on, and now we are going to start putting our berries on top of our pizza. And since it is the 4th of July, we are going to start by making an American flag. So we're going to start with our blueberries to be our stars, and then we're going to use our strawberries as our stripes. And here is our beautiful finished product of our 4th of July dessert pizza. If you would like a copy of this recipe or any of the recipes that you've seen on Seasoned with Grace, you can go to my Facebook page, Seasoned with Grace. I hope y'all have a fantastic 4th of July, and I hope your day is seasoned with grace. We'll see you next time.
Okay, we're going around the fair, and of course we're going to talk to you about stuff that's going on later on in August. And this is Mr. Chris Hicks. Chris is with UT Extension, and they do a wonderful job here in Smith County working with folks. Chris, we really appreciate what you guys do.
Thank you, Bill. Same at you.
Well,
appreciate you.
Anyway, you were going to talk to us about some things here. Well, start off at the fair and then segue into what you want.
Sure. So obviously it's Monday of the fair, and so for us that means we've taken entries all day. We have a lot of really high quality entries. Our numbers are probably down this year, and hopefully you made it out to the fair. And but our quality is really good, and so I was really impressed by our quality this year.
Well, I do have a question. Okay, the fair is started earlier this year. It's in the first week of August instead of the last week of August like it has been in the past. How does that affect a person if they want to enter next year? Now, not this year, but next year. How does that affect them? What do they need?
Well, it means they may have to plan some things earlier than they normally would. We don't want to be too early where we're running into cold soil temperatures and chance of frost and things, but some of the stuff just isn't ready yet. And really, even our tomatoes, I've got a lot of really nice green tomatoes. Probably next week they'll be red. So if I'd been a week earlier, I'd probably had some that I could have brought to the fair this year.
So if somebody's planning on next year for the fair 2019, what they need to do is plan a little early.
Yeah, maybe plan a little earlier. Of course, that's going to be weather dependent, and sometimes we can't do anything about the weather. I guess never we can do anything about the weather, but it's something to think about, is maybe planning earlier, and I hope folks will, because you've got a chance to win a ribbon, which is nice, and compete and have some friendly competition, win a little prize money, but more than that, it's helping our community. It's hopefully encouraging other people to grow a garden and maybe have a healthier lifestyle, eat some of these nice vegetables that they come out and see. And our youth come through here, and we've had youth coming this morning and bringing in produce. And it's really cool to see those kids bring in things that they had a part of growing, and hopefully that next generation is going to come up and be interested in gardening and agriculture.
I find it very interesting. I read an article. I was actually one of the few times, I don't fly much anymore, but one of the few times I was in a plane, I read an article, and it was talking about how people in the cities that are very wealthy are eating vegetables and eating things like that and changing their diet. And I thought it was kind of humorous, because that was what I was raised on, and we weren't wealthy.
Sure.
We were far from that.
Yeah.
And so if you've got a garden and you raise some crops yourself, and that, you're actually helping your health tremendously, aren't you?
For sure. I would much rather eat something that I grew. I know the practices I did. I know whether I sprayed it with something, what was used in producing it, and just about everybody will agree. What you eat out of your own garden just seems to taste a lot better than what you get at the grocery store.
Well, and I know I'm segueing here a little far out, but we did adult leadership last week, and we went down to Catissa Farms, and George McDonald showed us the strawberry beds. Now, they are basically over, but the vines are still there, and he was telling us about what he would do for next year's crop and everything like that. And I questioned him about the strawberries, and he said, well, when you go to one of the chain stores, and when people are selling to them, they don't ask you about taste. They don't ask you about color. They want to know what the shelf life is. Yeah. And George grows for taste and color, and so that's why his strawberries, I don't know if you've noticed this, but boy, when they come in, I know I have to get over there and get me a flat of them, or they get gone.
That's right, and they don't have the shelf life that a grocery store strawberry would have, because they haven't been bred for that. Those strawberries you get at the grocery store have been bred, just like you say, to last longer on the shelf, not for taste.
Well, one thing George said, and I really, and this is true, he says, if I walk in and I've got a quart of my strawberries behind my back, and I walk in the room, you're going to know what I've got, because you're going to smell the aroma.
Sure.
And those ones that you find in the store, of course, like you say, they're bred for shelf life. They don't have that aroma.
You're right.
Anyway, some good strawberries this year from George.
Sure.
Anyway, I segued off into something else. I interrupted. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to mention on the produce, since we're talking about produce, and I know the fair is over, that these folks hopefully had an opportunity to come by and see some of our produce. But it's a pertinent time of year to be talking about diseases in the vegetable garden, and things start showing up. We see blights, we see spots, we see things that just don't look right, and a lot of that's because of the weather conditions, drought, maybe too much moisture, a lot of different things. But I wanted to touch on maybe some things that we could do to prevent that besides spraying chemicals. Everybody comes in and they've got a disease, and they want to know, what can I spray?
Yeah.
And we can recommend some products that you can spray, but really doing some things on the front end will hopefully give you a situation where you don't have to spray a chemical. And that's things, very simple things, like picking the right plant. And I'm always going to recommend that folks try to buy plants locally. I want you to get your tomato plants from one of our producers who produces tomato plants. They start them from seed, and they have tomato plants for sale. There's chain stores you can go to and get tomato plants. Typically, what I found is you go and get those, and sometimes they've already got spots on them. They're already diseased before you take them home, and you're just bringing in a problem if you do that.
Well, and we've got several producers around here. I know in Defeated, over in not Tanglewood, but Rome,
Yep.
toward that area. We've got several people that have those.
A lot of our farmers market vendors also have
yeah.
plants for sale, so you can check with us at the extension office. They're chamber members too, those folks at the farmers market, so you're familiar with those guys.
And they set up there, and they've got a Facebook page, and there's a lot of ways you can find out about what's ripe that week.
Yeah. I think getting the right plants. I think site selection. Sunny plants need sun. There's some plants that like a little bit of shade or can tolerate a little bit of shade. Having the right soil. Some plants like soil to be a little more acid. Some a little more closer to neutral. And so knowing those things, and we've got a lot of publications at the extension office we can help folks with, and we can answer questions. We can test their soil. If folks have questions about, hey, what would grow good in my soil and my conditions, we can help people out with that.
Okay, well, the first thing comes to mind, they're going to say, well, what does it cost to get you to come out an expert on this stuff?
It's actually free. It's I don't charge to come out and give my opinion. I like to say I'm an expert on my opinion, okay? But I've also got some specialists that we can rely on if we have a question that is over my head, which isn't hard. You can stump me. And we've got some really good specialists at the state level who are have PhDs in growing fruits and growing vegetables that we can help too. But I don't charge anything to come out. If we take some soil samples, we do have a charge for that. We charge about $10 to take those and send them to the lab, and the lab will give you results and make recommendations on fertility and Lyme and things like that.
Yeah, and of course, going back to George, they actually do sampling of their fields, and they tune their spreaders to actually put the right amount in the right places. So it's pretty important to have that fertilizer set right.
Absolutely.
For your garden.
It's critical. It's one of the first things I ask when people have a question or they have an issue. One of the first questions I have: what's your fertility? Did you do a soil test? Do you have your pH right? Because that is so critical to growing anything, whether it's grass in a lawn, fruits, vegetables, flowers, anything. It's so critical to have the right soil and the right soil conditions.
Okay, well, did you cover that subject?
Absolutely. I think so. But if folks have questions, again, if they want me to come out, we're available at the Extension office. Just give us a call, 735-2900, or come by and see us.
Okay, and that's pretty easy to remember, but if you can't, call us at the chamber. We'll get you in touch with Chris. Chris, there is another thing that I wanted to mention, and we're standing right in front of it, Pick Tennessee, and a lot of people, there's a website and all of that. I'm going to just kind of step over here a little bit, and we can see this. Talk about Pick Tennessee.
I think this is really cool, and the folks at Saveway helped us put this together. Todd and Angela, they always help us with this display every year, and this is really neat. These are all Tennessee products. These are Tennessee companies, and there's some companies up here you're probably familiar with. You probably knew they were Tennessee companies. Martha White, I know that they're up or down around Jasper area. Bush's Baked Beans, I kind of knew they were a Tennessee company, but some of these, Charms, Blow Pops, I really didn't realize that they were made in Tennessee. Pringles, I didn't realize that was a Tennessee company. So these are all Tennessee companies, and again, if you go to Pick Tennessee Products, not only will you find these companies, you'll find a lot of local vendors. A lot of our farmers market folks are also on Pick Tennessee Products. There's some people that aren't on the farmers market that they sell meats and cheeses and things at Pick Tennessee Products. So if eating locally and supporting farmers at the local level interests you, Pick Tennessee Products is a great website. You can search by county, search by product.
It's listed right here.
Yeah, that's the website, and they can, if they know what they want to buy, if they know they want to buy beef, they can search for beef and they can find some vendors, or just kind of scroll through and see what's available. Flowers, plants, like we talked about earlier, all those things are available on this Pick Tennessee Products website.
Okay, and when you go around the room now, again, most folks won't be, the fair will be over by the time they see this, but when you go around the room, there's several stations here. I know UT has a agricultural station where they can get information about raising plants, animals. You do master beef classes. You're through the whole gamut of it.
Yeah, we have a lot of classes throughout the year. We have beekeeping classes, livestock classes. We have gardening classes and workshops. We try to service all kinds of folks, whether they're full-time farmers or hobby gardeners, whoever it is. We try to serve all our folks the best we can.
Well, I know this is a really good display, and the vegetables with the blue ribbons on them up and down the line, I think that is beautiful, and there's quite a display of them, and all the other best of show over here. The ham show up here, do you have anything to do with that?
Well, Ronnie Basile is our chairman of the ham show. They have that on the Saturday before the fair, and they take those entries, and that's one of the things that is kind of going away as far as people putting up ham. You know, used to 10, 20, 30 years ago, everybody had hams.
Oh, yeah, we had them on our farm.
They would salt the hams, and they would get together and kill hogs, and it was kind of a family affair. Not as many folks doing that, but we appreciate those who still do and are willing to come and share some of their products with us.
And I noticed you've got it hanging up high. That bacon there looks pretty enticing.
Well, you'd have to climb to get it, Bill, but I wouldn't put it past you.
Yeah, well, I've been known to get a ladder. There's some other things around. Dairy, you've got that. The farming community. We've got that USDA over here, soil conservation.
Sure.
I see that, and then Future Farmers of America have a display.
Yeah, we've got a lot of opportunities for kids and adults who are interested in agriculture to learn more about how to produce things to feed a growing population. We've got more and more people and less people that are involved in agriculture to try to get those people fed.
And I noticed, I think they started this last year, they have a wine show now.
They do.
And we've got, I know Cellar 53 is a local winery, and they're really nice folks over there. If you are a person that likes wine, that would be a good place for you to go and visit, and they're local.
They are, and they do help with the wine show, and very involved with a lot of things going on in the community.
And when looking around the room, there's just quite a bit to see. So, folks, I know, like I say, you probably can't come this year because it's already over, but 2019, it'll be even better than it is now. And these Pick Tennessee Products signs that are around here gives you an idea of what you can get here locally in Tennessee. Chris, did we cover everything?
I think we covered the gamut today, Bill. And if folks need us, call us.
Okay.
As always.
Folks, 735-2900 to get a hold of Mr. Chris, and he's got a great crew over there. If he don't know the answer, which is pretty rare, they do. So, Chris, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, we're obviously still here at the fair, and I ran into Miss Megan. Megan, introduce yourself to these folks.
My name is Megan McDonald, and
what is your position here? Tell them what you do here.
I am the pageant director at the fair, and I am in charge of the older age divisions, the Miss, the Teen, the Junior, and the Petite.
Okay, now let's not talk about this year. Let's talk about 2019. Say there's a young lady out there and she wants to be involved in this. What's the criterion for somebody to be involved in the pageants that you have?
Well, anybody can be in the pageant. What's encouraging...
Outside of Smith County?
That's a good question. I got asked that this year. No, you have to live in Smith County, which is great, because I think that we need to bring our young girls in this county into the pageants.
I'm sure the other counties like Cannon and
DeKalb has done it in the past where they left it open, but ours is close, so you have to live in Smith County to compete.
Most of them, they have a pageant there that they can go to.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're fine. And then there's the state of Tennessee, the state fair, which is in Nashville. Theirs is open to any county in the state of Tennessee.
Okay, so if you win here, you can go there. Even if you don't win, can you go?
If someone competed in this one and did not win, they can go to that one and compete in that one and try to win that one.
That's wonderful. Yes. I did not know that. I thought you had to win.
Nope.
So that's wonderful.
Yep.
That's very good. Okay, so if a young lady out there wants to get involved, what does she do?
Hopefully we're going to be able to get you to register online instead of having to go to a certain place and pick up your registration form. So we're hoping that in 2019 that we're going to have an online registration option, which will be great, and just turning that in, and it's all they have to do. I'm trying to encourage girls next year, because we started it last year, that we give scholarships. We started it last year, and it was really good, and we give $500 to the winner. The first runner-up gets $250, and the third runner-up gets $175. So that in itself is a very encouraging thing for these young girls to come out to win a scholarship.
Well, hey, $100 when you're going to college is a lot of money if it pays for books or whatever.
Absolutely.
Well, tell me this age group you mentioned. let's go by school, like seniors and juniors. What is?
The missed category is ages 16 through 20. So you could be out of high school and be into college and still come back and compete, which we try to get them to remind them, hey, come back, come back to your county where you're from and compete. And then the teen is ages 13 through 15, junior is ages 10 through 12, and then petite is ages 7 through 9.
And obviously it's in the summer, so hopefully they're in between school sessions and they'd have the time to do this.
Absolutely.
And if it means some scholarship money, I hope that would encourage. Okay, how long does what time do you start? What time is it over?
Well, we'll say this, in the Miss, which we're starting today, that is the only category that they have an interview, and it starts at 5 o'clock, but the pageants normally start at 6. But if you're in the Miss, you actually go through an interview process, and it starts at 5 o'clock.
Okay, so they get to talk about world peace.
Absolutely.
Like the movie.
Absolutely. No, what they do is we'll talk about what's on their entry form.
I see.
So they need to beef up their entry form, put a lot of interesting facts on it, so when they're in that interview, it makes them stand out amongst the others.
Okay, so they get to talk about what they're doing and what they're doing here locally.
Absolutely.
That's wonderful. I think that's everybody's probably seen the movie and they know the joke about the world peace.
Hey, we're all for world peace.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying it either.
Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Okay, I think you've covered it. Is there a contact number or place or someplace?
Yes, you can contact myself. My email is megan-mcdonald@hotmail.com. They can email me if they're interested in doing it next year. If they want any other information about it, they can always contact me.
Okay, and I'm thinking it would be, but is it a good idea? I mean, like next week, they could talk to you about what's going on for 2019. Is that right?
Absolutely. They can email me anytime.
Okay.
And hey, this day and age, social media, find me on social media, and I will message you, or I can contact you that way. So.
Okay, and one thing that I know you do, you usually make a presentation of the winners to the county court, and these young ladies get to go and represent Smith County.
Yes, after you win, you get to be in the Carthage Parade, the Gordonsville Parade. We do represent the county court office. We introduce them there. If they're the Miss.
I hope you're going to light the Christmas tree this year.
We're going to light the Christmas tree. If you're the Miss, you get to light the Christmas tree. And if you're Miss and you compete, you then go on to state, which is in January, and that's when you compete against all the other counties that have a fair. There's 94, is there 94 counties?
95.
95 counties in the state of Tennessee, but not every county has a fair. So there's a range between 50 to 60 counties that have a fair, and when they have one and they have a pageant, they'll compete against those young ladies at the state level.
And are there scholarships or prizes or things like that at each one of those levels?
Big scholarships, thousands of dollars will be given away in that at the state level.
So one of these young ladies out there, they could become a pageant expert and they could put themselves through college almost, right?
Absolutely. They give big scholarships at state. Big.
That's wonderful.
And I love it. And we haven't had anybody in a long time from Smith County win at the state level. So we need to find that one girl to represent Smith County.
And we have had winners in the past.
We've had in the past. Since I have been here, we haven't had one win. So we are just, trying to find that young lady.
It doesn't have a lot to do with the county you're from or anything. It has to do with your drive and your willingness to learn.
Your personality,
When we do the tours at the courthouse, I tell them, there's only 2 people in the state of Tennessee that's ever won a Nobel Peace Prize, and both of them come from Smith County.
So we've got some good people here.
We've got talent.
Yes.
We've got good people here, and ladies, you need to get involved in this. Who knows? You might be the next Miss USA. You never know.
Oh, absolutely. My sister is from Wilson County, and she won the Miss Wilson County Ferris Affair, and she went on and became Mrs. Tennessee and Miss Tennessee and was Miss Universe. So you can come from a small county and just win a county fair, and that county fair take you all the way.
Yeah, it can take you all the way
It
there.
can.
Well, Megan, thank you for talking with us.
Absolutely.
And good luck with this year's contestants.
Thank you.
And 2019, folks, remember 2019, you can get involved.
Thank you.
Okay, we're obviously still here at the fair, and we're in Family and Consumer Science, the exhibits.
Right.
Mary, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell them who you're with.
I am Mary Draper, and I'm the FCS Extension Agent for the county, or Smith County if you're watching from another county.
Okay, and you've seen Mary on the show a lot. She goes around, you have several FCE clubs here in Smith County.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And several people that are members. I know I got to come to a joint meeting one time, and It seemed to me like there was 100 or 200 people there.
Yes.
Is there a lot of members in FCE?
So we have 200 members across the county. We have 9 clubs and a mailbox membership. So we have a wide range of members, and anybody is welcome to join one. So if you just call the extension office, we can work with you to see which club is right for you.
Okay, and so they can become a member of one of the local clubs. Now, we're at the fair, and let's not talk about this year because the fair is going to be over when everybody sees this, but in 2019 they could be involved.
Yeah.
Now there's a quilt show, right? There's canned goods, there's needlecraft, there's photography, floriculture, and sewing, antiques, heirlooms,
cooking and crafts. So there's a wide variety, something for everybody, really.
Okay. Well, if they want to get involved in this next year, not this year, what do they need to do?
So you can start getting your exhibits ready. This year we had our fair a little bit earlier, so some of our canned goods were down, which is to be expected with the earlier season. But you can go ahead and start working on your canned goods for next year, because as long as they're made after the fair, they can be put into the next year's fair. So, as you're getting those crops in.
So right, we're in the first week of July here, so if they can something end of July, they can go in 2019 then.
Right.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yes.
So that's good to know, folks. Take a note of that, because that way your canned goods will be up next year.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Okay, FCE, I know we are standing here right next to the Best of Show. I don't know if you would like to.
Yes, I would like to invite one of my FCE members to come up, Miss Peggy Kemp. She's in our Defeated Club, and she won Best of Show for sewing. So she gets a nice ribbon. Miss Peggy, you want to model your... And she gets $10 automatically for winning Best of Show. And she also gets a prize, a $25 prize. And then she won first place, so she gets an additional $5. And Miss Peggy entered a lot in the sewing category, I believe. So she gets $5 for each first place she won, $4 for each second place she won, and $3 for each third place she won. So she should be getting a pretty good check.
Okay, well, congratulations.
5 first place. 5 first place, very good.
Yeah.
And Miss Peggy's a greeter at the fair this year. She and Mr. Tom are FC members, and they are nice enough to greet in the fair. As these people are coming in the exhibits, they're just saying hi and telling about the fair.
Okay, well, Miss Peggy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And folks, if you want to get involved in FCE, you need to get in touch with Mary. And I think I got the number memorized, 615-735-2900.
That's right.
All right, 2900. You give her a call.
Thank you.
Okay, we're walking along the fairgrounds, and we have run into one of the staff, right?
One of the
staff, and and hold that mic up there.
I'm sorry. Yes,
and,
one of the staff.
What we want to do is, this fair, of course, by the time these folks see it, it'll be kind of come and gone.
Right.
But we can talk about what was here and what's going to be here in the future. Now, one of the things is the exhibit that you've done in the front hall there, right?
Well, we have done that. My wife has really done it. I try to take as much credit as I can, but we really are proud of our Century Farms, and it's our heritage in Smith County, and we do a lot to recognize our Century Farmers, and we actually have a display. We've taken that to the state fair 5 years now, and then we have a dinner recognizing our Century Farm families, and the state people, when they come in, they're really amazed and pleased with the amount of recognition that we give our Century Farm people. In fact, it's we think that it's as much or more than any other county does. I took the display one year, which was a Smith County display, to the state fair, and it was about the government, business, recreation, history, and different aspects of Smith County. And the lady goes, "Where's your Century Farm display?" And I said, "Well, I've taken up all my space." And she pointed and said, "You got 2 spaces." And I went, I'll have
good.
to run back to Carthage. So we got 2 spaces, and she wanted the other people throughout the state to know what Smith County was doing to recognize these Century Farm families. So we're real proud of that. And then we have another one that's just recognizing last year's fair in pictures and this, that, and the other. So
Okay, well now you have the dinner. It's usually the same time during the fair each
well,
week.
this year we've changed because it normally is on Tuesday, but because of the 4th of July falling on Wednesday, we moved our senior event back to Tuesday, and then we moved our recognition for the Century Farms to Friday. So, and that's really an invitation-only type thing to our Century Farm families. But that is going to be Friday this year. Next year, we will probably be back on Tuesday, the senior citizens on Wednesday, and that's sort of the schedule we normally will keep.
Okay, and that's the planning for the fair. Now, we're going to have the same fair operator here
Oh,
next
yes,
year.
and that's great. We've been fortunate, and unfortunately, we had to move our week from the last week of July to the first week, but we've picked up a bigger, I'm not going to say better or whatever, but we've picked up a bigger set of rides. They've been real accommodating, and it's more diverse rides, a more number of rides, and we're just real pleased with this, and they are going to return next year.
Okay, well, I knew that was a big plus.
Right, oh
is the-
yes,
is the
that's a
fact that it
big
was
deal.
bigger
That's
fair.
a big deal.
Okay, well now we talked about Century Farm, and we talked about the display. Now you've got the display here that you put at the state in the front of the Ag Center building, is that right?
Right, it's in the front lobby, and actually we change it. The existing display for the fair is from last year's fair. Now, when we take it to the state, usually, or the state fair, usually they have a specific topic, and it's more related to Smith County and not just Smith County Fair.
Gotcha.
So we have to change the whole display for whatever their criteria is. And like I said, last year it was history and recreation and business, this, that, and the other. But then in the winter, we have a third display, which is this year's fair, and it's going to be at the State Fairs Association, which is all the county fairs in the state get together. They do the state fairs to the fair pageant, and then have all the different vendors come in and try to get set up, and a lot of the statewide associations come in, and so we set that up. So that's 3 different displays in a year, but then the display that we put up at the state association is the fair. Is the display we'll do next year at the fair in our front lobby.
Okay, well now, I may be asking you something you don't know, but do you know when the state fair is this year?
Not right off the top of my head. Usually it is, I don't know.
Okay, but it's a few weeks after this.
Well, no, it's like September or October.
Okay, so
It's
if
on
you're
up in
listening,
the fall.
they'd have time to go down and see the display.
Oh, yes.
And then the one where you say the fairs get together, is that open to the public?
Oh,
Or is that-
yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like a convention. I don't know how open to the public it is, but normally it's like you have to register and you have to get your tag, and a lot of times there are some things you cannot get in unless you're an official delegate. But I would say the displays and things like that, and it's held at the Music City Marriott unless they change that. And I think that's something at least you could go in and see the displays. But there's all kinds of different committee meetings that you would have to be an official delegate.
Okay, well now let's talk about the local fair board. I know that they're always inviting people if they want to become involved in the fair board. So if somebody wanted to get involved in the Smith County Fair for 2019, what would they need to do?
Oh, well, just really contact Anthony Apple or Stan Webster. They are our two, I guess, I don't know if it's president and vice president or chairman and I don't know what their title is, but they do a lot of the work. But no, we're constantly looking for new people to be involved, younger people, trying to actually set up a youth board that would involve high school, early college people to get them involved, that as they grow older they would become, the fair board members and that type of stuff.
Right.
And we have a lot of people that do different things. Like we've got one guy that handles the cook-off, and that's his distinction for being in the fair board. We got one that'll handle the car show, and then one that'll handle the children's Olympics. We've got a lot of people that are involved on a regular basis, but they don't really say or think that they're fair board, but they're fair board. So and with we can't have enough people. We need more people.
Well, if they've got an interest in something in a particular area, then they can get involved in that area.
And most of the time, if they do have that particular interest, they've already been participating, and it's sort of like they just work themselves into helping. If you're standing around, we're going to put you to work.
Well, and that's a good thing. Okay, well, have we covered everything?
I think so. We've got a great group of food booths. We've got all kinds of things. We've got all the opportunities. Now, this year, for 18, we've got a lot of the candidates' booths, and for the election.
Well, in 19, there won't be an election,
right.
so it'll be a little different.
So we need to really generate a lot of more interest from the commercial people and the churches and this, that, and the others for next year to take up the slack for the elected people or the elected.
Well, I noticed the fair's quite a bit bigger this year. It'll be big next year as far as the coverage.
Yeah, really, it's gotten a little bit bigger. We've added this year just a tremendous addition over in what we call the Pioneer Village. The Rotary Club has built a new amphitheater type stage in there, and it's for smaller concerts, bluegrass bands, smaller groups like that. And then from that, we have some permanent structures with little lean-to type tents for what we call our Pioneer Village people. And then it's all kinds of crafts. I mean, there'll be broom making, there'll be all different kinds of things, and that's permanent structures. In fact, I was talking to one of the state judges that come around and judge the different states, and he was very, very, very impressed with that new addition this year. So that has worked out very well, and it's just a little bit by little bit we're continuing to grow. We've got some other plans for the future. Probably need another permanent structure here.
Well, I know Rotary is going to build a concession area up here just behind the stand.
So we've got groups like Rotary Club want to build permanent structures. We're trying to get another exhibition hall built, and smaller than the existing Ag Center. And so as we expand, we can move into we're pretty crowded right now in the Ag Center. So if we can sort of spread out a little bit, we just give the people a little bit better variety of places to go.
Yeah, and they like that air conditioning, don't they?
Yes, they sure do.
It's a little warm out here.
They sure do. But we've got big tents where we've got churches and commercial people, and then we've got smaller tents around. But I mean, every year we're growing just a little bigger. I mean, we can't start on top. We've just continuously work at it and get it a little better.
Well, and I think when we started, we forgot to tell everybody who you are. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, my name is Steve Dow, and I was the band director at Smith County High School for 17 years, and then I went to principal when Mr. Lewis went to the superintendent, and then I have continued on there. I retired about 8 years ago. I've helped continuously on driving the bus. That I didn't last year, but we're so short on school bus drivers that.
So if they can work at the fair and they can get a job with the school driving a bus.
That's right. Oh yeah, we'll get you going. I said somebody the other night said I was cleaning up between pageants inside. They said, well, I went to college and got a degree and taught school and was a principal, and now I get to clean up at the fair.
There you go.
so we just do whatever we have to do, and that's what's important.
There's a lot of good people around here. Mr. Dow, thank you very much.
Thank you, and appreciate everything you all do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll hold them for you.
Okay. All right, this is Mr. Shannon Minchie. He's a county commissioner. We think politicians, they ought to be wet. Now, I don't know if I can hit this or not, but we're going to give it a try. Oh! Oh! All right. I am getting further away. I'm telling you, you don't look very worried, do you? Oh, one more. Okay, folks, this is my last ball. I have hope. All right! Success. Folks, you need to come to the fair next year. You get to dunk politicians. Okay, we are wandering around the fair. We ran into Mr. Well, just introduce yourself. Tell them who you are and who you with.
I'm Brad Smith. I'm the owner of Tennessee Kayak and Outdoor Company here in Carthage.
All right, and he has some really sharp rack cards. If you get a chance, pick one of these up. They're at the rest area.
Yes, sir.
They're at the Chamber of Commerce, and of course at your place and several other places in town. And they're a really nice looking card. And it has his number on there, 615-735-7995. And then it's tnkayak.com, right?
Yes, sir.
So if they want any information about what's going on with your company, they can look it up. Okay, tell me, what have you been doing today?
Today, we took a few groups out on the Caney Fork River, and we also did a guided kayak trip for a group today as well.
Okay, so if somebody wants to, they can come and rent the kayaks from you, or you'll actually take them down the river then?
Absolutely. We also have shuttle service, so it's not that you rent the kayaks and take them out yourself. You come by, leave your vehicle at our place, we shuttle you to the location, drop you off, and then pick you up at your exit point.
Boy, that is a really convenient thing, because that's one of the things I've always had to worry about is getting my kayak here, then getting my vehicle here, and then getting back to where my kayak is.
Absolutely.
So you've cut about 4 steps out of the situation for them. They just come to your place, get in, you take them, they call you, you come pick them up.
Absolutely, and we do kayak and canoe rentals, but we also do shuttle service. So if you own your own kayak or canoe, give us a call at 615-735-7995, and we'll just schedule you where you can bring your own kayak or canoe in, and we'll pick you up as well.
All right, and you cover all of the river. Well, tell them the points, access points.
Our access points, we basically cover all of Smith County on the rivers and the lakes. So we go from Betty's Island to Stonewall to South Carthage to Carthage on the Caney, and we go from Defeated Creek to the dam, and from the dam to Carthage on the Cumberland River, as well as Defeated Creek, Cordell Hole Lake.
Okay, and we're working on getting some more access points, folks. If you need to keep up with that, because we're going to have one there at the depot, Piper's Ford. We're working on one down at Rome.
Hopefully at Lock 7.
Lock 7.
Yep, work in progress. So that way we can have one from Carthage to Lock 7, then Lock 7 to Rome.
Okay, so there's a lot of different trips that a person can do. Okay, now the exciting thing, I saw Kayak Race 2018. Now we can't talk about 2018 because the fair will be over and the race will be over, but 2019 there's going to be a race.
2019 there will be another race, and there should be bigger and better prizes even next year. We're going to get our feet wet a little bit this year, and hoping to be able to give away a kayak next year. So
all right,
everybody come out.
So that's going to be a big deal. And you got 4 divisions: men, women, junior men, junior women. Now, would I be a junior?
Sure, Bill.
That's what I was afraid of. I got to be in the big group, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. All right, folks. If you want to, I tell you what, I really enjoyed the last 2 races that I've been in.
Wonderful.
And I have moved myself up in the rank every time. So maybe this year I'll do a little better.
You might be the man this year.
Yeah, you never know. All right, Brad. You have outfits and gear, and you've got it all, right?
A little bit of everything you want to do outdoors. Camping, hiking, fishing, you name it. Anything you need, from shoes to clothing, packs, we have it all.
Yeah, and my little granddaughter, she loves the shirt. My wife bought her.
Oh yeah.
Paddle like a girl.
Paddle like a girl. Try to keep up. That's right.
So, folks, if you want to see some good, retail stuff, and you want to have a good time, it's on Main Street. You want to tell them where you are?
510 Main Street here in Carthage. We're about 2 blocks north of the square.
Okay, and folks, if you forget that, Chamber of Commerce, 735-2093 will direct you to Mr. Brad's place. Brad, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, we were running around here at the fair, and we found a young lady. Young lady, I want you to tell us, what's your name?
My name is Tara.
Okay, Tara, and tell me this, what's your favorite ride at the fair?
Okay, well, my favorite ride is my favorite ride is the Spaceship 2000.
Oh, okay. And what does it do? Does it spin?
Okay, so it's like you're laying on some blue things, and then you have to or you just lay down and all that stuff. And when it spins a lot faster, you get stuck on it.
Okay, well that sounds like a lot of fun. And there's a lot of other rides over there. You going to get a bracelet tonight?
Yeah.
Well, now I think, let's see, this is Tuesday night. So Tuesday night they're cheaper than normal, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like 14.
And so next year I think they'll be the same. Now Pioneer Village is behind us here. Have you been in there?
Yeah.
It's really cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like really cool. My friend's right over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think he's going to stay over there. Well, thank you.
He's gonna stay.
We're talking. Your shirt says "Not your average girl." Okay. Well, we can go along with that. Well, Tara, thank you for talking with us.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, we hope you have enjoyed our little trip through the fair. You know, we've got a great fair here. I'm in Pioneer Village right now, and you see all the vendors that are here. And we've got some folks that come back every year. Our broom maker here, he's been here for the last 3 years and does a great job. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. And this is the bridge that comes into Pioneer Village. And then if we go up here, Mr. Rue Allen Dillahay, he's sitting on his kicking horse there. I'm doing great. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Mr. Bobby. And then we walk on around here. We've got some more vendors. And we just got a lot of stuff going on here at the Smith County Fair. So you come back in 2019 and see what's going on. Folks, we hope you enjoyed the show. And there's a lot of other things going on here toward the middle and the end of August. Check www.smithcountychamber.org and go to the events calendar, and everything is listed there that's happening in Smith County. And there's a lot of things happening this summer. We got an election coming up. We got a lot of excitement happening in the county. So folks, it's a good place to be. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next time on the Chamber Corner.